Hi guys, so it's time to create the box. So let's go ahead and start with the construction of the box itself. Excuse me. The box is two parts and gotta create both. So the initial wrap piece, and this is 110-pound cardstock, so it's quite thick, is going to be 5 inches by 11, and we're going to do some scoring on that one. And then the other piece, my goodness, where is it? It is 7 7/8. Little piece right there by 10 inches. Okay. Right. Now, we're going to go ahead and score. So I need to get my handy dandy stylus out. Now we're going to score at 2.5 on all 4 sides. So we're just going to score at 2.5 and rotate, 2.5 and rotate, 2.5 and rotate, and final 2.5 and rotate. Alright, we got to do some cutting on that one, but let's go ahead and score on this one also. This one, okay, so we're going to score at 1/4, 2 3/4, okay, 5 5/8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Still have to count it out. 5 5/8, and 8 1/8. I've had like the hardest time getting these score marks right, and that doesn't look right to me, but we'll find out soon enough if that's right. I need to grab my bone folder so I can really crease these. I think because this cardstock is so thick, I had trouble with it. Alright, let's see. Is this going to be square? Excuse me. What? Yep, it's square. Okay, so that's the wrap. I'll come back to that in just 1 second. Now, before I do anything else, I need to actually trim this down a little bit because my score marks needs to be just under the 2.5. So what I'm going to actually cut off before I cut anything is like 1/16 of a thing. It's actually, I think, closer to, let's see, it's closer to 1/8, but that will itself work. Ow, keep doing that. So yeah, I guess it's about 1/8 of an inch, and I'm probably taking off just a little too much, but hopefully not, so I'm not wasting the cardstock. Okay, so that's just a lot easier to do now than later. Now what I wanted to do is, or what you need to do, I'm going to use my longer scissors for this, my Tim Holtz shears. I'm going to cut on these lines. So I'm going to cut straight up to that first score mark, and then I'm going to actually miter the corner just a little bit. I'm just going to take off just a little bit. And I'm cutting into the small square, not the large one. So we're going to go ahead and cut this one as well. Now you can use your paper trimmer to do this. That is something you can do, but for this, and I cut off a little bit more, and that's not the end of the world. So we're going to rotate it. I'm going to cut it to that first score line, and then I'm going to go ahead and trim off just a hair. Just makes the box fit just a little bit easier. There we go. All right, so now got that. I want to fold all my score lines for this as well, so everything fits super duper well. Excuse me. Okay. That up. Then I want to fold these in. Crease that score line. Fold this in. Crease that score line, and I'm done with those. So we'll just set those out of my way. Okay. All these little pieces, I'm going to toss those. Okay, now I'm going to just kind of dry fit this, because I want to see if indeed this is going to fit before I start doing a ton of work on it. So I'm going to go ahead and I just added just a tiny little bit of adhesive, just enough to kind of tack it into place. Well, I do. Okay, this one I know is exactly how I want it. So I'm going to actually adhere this down. So I've got the little tab, and I want the tab on the inside of the box. So I'm going to take my wet adhesive and just fold it over in half. Making sure to give it a really good press. But not so good. I don't stick it down. I don't want to glue my sleeve shut. Okay, so there's that. And that was actually the perfect amount. So you can see how by taking off that amount. Now, I know I could probably cut off a 1/4 inch and then score it, but that's just not how my brain was working when I did it, and I wanted to make sure that it was going to fit, and those were the measurements I had, so I went with them. Okay, so now this is all glued together, and I know that this is going to work, so I'm going to untack those. I can leave I don't know why I just rubbed that adhesive off, but I'm going to go ahead, get this nice and glued together. I'm going to start with one side. Now how I glue it together is I match up the corners and the top. That's why I only cut off the one side. So I'll go ahead and match up that corner. make sure that it's flush across the top edge. Give it a good press. And then give it a good press. Make sure it's flush right there. And flush right there. Turn it over and just give it a good press on the inside with my bone folder. Okay, now a few things that we can do, or not can do, but we need to do, is I need to cut my mats. Okay. So I'm changing the paper slightly from this pattern to this pattern right here, and that's because I have plenty of this left over and I don't want to create a whole like cut into a whole nother paper. Okay, so my mats for that are going to be, actually let's start with the yellow first. Okay, so we're going to go ahead, and again I changed the inside paper for the matting because again I have enough of it where it's, you know, it works for me. Okay, so it is, what is this one? Actually didn't get into those corners that well. Get into those corners really well. Okay. All right, I feel better about that now. Okay, the inside. Okay, so it's, I know it's 5, and it is 2 3/4. So on the inside, we are going to go with I need one of those. I need 2 side pieces, and a front and a back. Okay, so we're going to go 4 7/8. Okay, and then it is, what did I say, 2.5 across? So pretty sure that's what I said. So it is, oh, 2 3/4. So 2 3/4. Just 1/8 of an inch under. Hopefully that's the right. Perfect. I could have actually gone a little bit wider on that. So this is 2, I know, so 2 3/8. So let's do, I'm going to do just a tad under. There we go. So this is, okay, so that's one side. Keep dropping everything. And I'll do just a tad under for that piece. And I did the same thing. Okay, what was this piece? There we go. So there's the two. Oh my gosh. I'm bound and determined to mess this up. Okay. There's the train. Okay. Now, slide this way. It's this one. Okay. It's a really loud, long train. Okay, so two, just a tad over. Two. Okay. There we go. Alright, so those are the sides and the bottom. That took way longer and was more intense than it needed to be. Okay, now the ends. So I'll do 2 3/4 by 2 1/4. So let's do 2 1/4, 2 3/4, and that's perfect. Two 1/4 by 2 3/4. Okay, so that is my inside matting for there. And now I need to cut my outside pieces, and my outside pieces measure 4 3/4 by 2 1/4. So let's cut this to 2 1/4 by 4 3/4. So I have my two outside pieces, and then this is going to be top piece, the bottom piece, then front and back. Okay, so this is 2 3/4 by 2 1/4. A little bit harder because they're not perfect. These are square and the box isn't perfectly square, so it makes it a little harder. So these go directly to there because I'm not going to measure these. To the second line. To the second. So it's not quite perfect. maybe like so. And then the front one, same thing, can go to actually, I'm going to mat this one slightly different because I'd like slightly less of the black cardstock to show. This goes to the second one. Excuse me. Yeah, I like the way that that looks. Okay, now mermaid picture. Go ahead. I'm actually going to put this one down to the frame. Hopefully I'm doing the right thing. Lord knows I'm going to be upset if I didn't. And I do need to cut this. What was that? I cannot remember measurements. You guys are probably 2 3/4, 2 3/4. And what was it? 5. I know it's 5, so just under. There we go. Okay. So 2 quarters. Bottom. Okay, so there's that one. Outside pieces, and how did I do that one? Okay. Goes to there. And I cut it. Oh, I could just. So it's just under a hair, just there. Well, hopefully that's. To the sides. Looks good to me. Okay. Set that aside. I just thought of something. Top and bottom. Okay, they're going the right direction. Or these are going all kind of the same direction. Okay. Alright, so inside pieces. Outside pieces. Now let's get to ink and everything. My mind is just so focused on my students and thinking about it. Sucks so bad that they're not gonna graduate. Hang on one second, guys. Hang on one second. Okay, I'm back. Excuse me. Sorry, that was one of my very dear friends bothering me, sending me some messages, so we had to chat for just a second. So let's get to inking the rest of this paper. I just realized that my mermaid is right there. And I don't think yeah, I did. I cut it down. Who knows anymore what I do? We were talking about a couple of different swaps coming up, and I'm going to be hostessing the recipe swap. Again, this is going to be a little bit smaller this year than it has been in the past. You know, there are a couple people who have done it with us before but just can't do it right now for, you know, various reasons. Summertime is kind of a busy time. So it's going to be a little smaller group. I have one person who is joining for the first time this year, my friend Missy, and she's my local friend who I go crafting with, and I do expo with her and my sister and that kind of stuff. So she's going to join this year, and so that'll be a lot of fun. Like I was saying before I went, or you know, before I stopped the video, I keep thinking about my students and just having to postpone their graduation. I also will have to cancel the job fair because half of the students aren't going to be graduating at the same time. It's just a complete mess. I am just so sad. Hopefully we can get someone in to fill, or just miracle of miracles. So definitely in the prayers to either find someone who can fill the position, or one of our instructors currently can kind of help pick up the slack. I just hate to think about that because they do so much already, and completely appreciate, you know, everything that they do. It's not an easy job being a supervising nurse, so it's definitely tough. So we'll see what happens. Try and remember to update you guys on it, but hopefully we can get them finished sooner than later, because as it stands right now, I think it's going to be about 2.5 to 3 weeks for some of them before they finish, just the way the scheduling is working out. And then the way the scheduling works out, there will be less, like we will only have 2 instructors, and so normally we can do 3 groups of clinical, sometimes 4 if one of the instructors would do 2 sets of, you know, students, because each instructor when they go out can only have 10 students at a time. But if one instructor is willing to do you know, 10 days instead of 5 days, that, you know, would mean that we can do more. And our classes have been larger lately, so it's, you know, it's been nice having 3 clinical instructors. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to adhere the first, this paper, the front, because I need to attach the handle. And chose that as the front. Okay, now this one I just eyeballed. I need to find my little poker tool. And here is another Tim Holtz knob. Ouch. There we go. Let's hang on to it. So that goes. There we go. Nice and snug. Now the back paper. So I actually, excuse me, decided that I was going to invest in a gallon of the art glitter glue. I know it sounds like so much, and it is actually excuse me, a investment. It's kind of expensive, but where did I put, do you guys see where I put my bone folder? I don't know where I put it. I feel like, oh, there it is. A little expensive, but I think completely worth it for several reasons. One, I use a lot of it, and two, just economically, when you divide it, the gallon, by these 2-ounce bottles. Now, I think here in the States you can buy the bottles for, I think, like $5 a bottle or something like that, something along those lines. They're not that expensive. Excuse me, hold on, I need to have a little sip. Sorry about the loud swallowing as I was drinking. So I did the math, and there are, per the pricing on it, you just can't beat the pricing on how much you pay for the bottle, like per bottle versus for the gallon. It's just like it's, excuse me, seriously, it's an investment. And you know, I use a lot of adhesive, and I mean, more so specifically, I use a lot of this adhesive. And so, I mean, I think with these 3 mini albums and the boxes, I think I went through probably 3/4 of a bottle. And that's a lot of glue if you think about it. I mean, it's 2 ounces, you know, so it's not that much, but it is. I don't know. But I just love it. It is wonderful. It is awesome, amazing glue. And yeah, I couldn't be happier. So it's going to be here on Wednesday. Just kind of just in time for me to start some other project. So that's looking good so far. And then I just have to put this last little piece in. And there we go. I wish I could put this piece down before I put the handle on, but then I wouldn't be able to get the handle on, so on and so forth. Can't have one without the other. And that reminded me of the song from, let me see, which one is this one? This one goes here. Married with Children. Their opening credits theme song. Yep. I remember my dad used to watch it all the time. I wasn't allowed to watch it usually. Not until I got older, but, okay. Close that. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and put the papers on these. And I could use my ATG, but it's just, my wet glue is right there. It's just nice and handy. So I'm going to go ahead and just keep using it. Oh, so I was on Facebook earlier today, and one of my cousins just bought her first house. So that is so very exciting for her. So proud of her. She's a teacher in Illinois, so it's kind of weird to think, you know, my cousins and everything, like, you know, everyone growing up and, you know, adulting and that kind of stuff. And I don't know, it's just weird. You know, I'll always think of them as like my little cousins, and it's just kind of hard to think. I don't know. Guess maybe we all kind of have those growing pains. So this is the bottom of the box. Just put it on something pretty. The hubby and I have been looking for houses, but we haven't found anything. It's kind of jumped out at us. He is more, there are certain things he's a little more particular on than I am. Just location of neighbors and that kind of stuff. I grew up in the suburbs where you could pretty much reach out the window and high-five your neighbor from the bathroom, you know. So each bathroom was just like right there. And he actually grew up, not in, I guess in the city, kind of, but he's lived more out in the country than I have. I mean, I was born in Minnesota and we lived there for many years, and then we moved out here and, you know, to the suburbs. So I guess I'm just kind of used to closer proximity of neighbors and things like that, but it doesn't bother me as much as it truly bothers him. He would definitely like property, and I'm not opposed to property. I just, the upkeep, that's just my thing, just the upkeep of it. not really interested in yard work. I've never liked yard work or gardening or anything like that. So I don't want a lot of lawn maintenance. That's my whole thing. As far as like bedrooms and bathrooms and things like that, you know, not a deal breaker for us about any of that either. I mean, definitely wouldn't, you know, turn our noses up at, you know, 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom, whatever, you know. Definitely would like a 2-bedroom so I can have my craft room and obviously a regular bedroom, but again, not super particular on all of that stuff. I just want a fenced yard, or enough money left in the budget to put in a secure fence for my doggins to make sure that they don't run away and or critters don't make an appearance in my yard and eat them or anything. So that is, I guess, really my only thing. Like I said, not super picky. Oh, and I want hardwoods, or not hardwoods, but just hard floors throughout. I don't care if, you know, it's hardwoods and tile, or, you know, hardwoods, or, you know, laminate. It doesn't matter. I just don't want carpeting. No carpeting anymore. I am over carpeting, and yeah, because I have 2 little dogs that 90% of the time do a good job of not having accidents in the house, but sometimes we have one who is a little bit of a nervous Nelly, and he gets nervous when we leave sometimes, and I call him my nervous pooper because he sometimes poops when we leave the house because he gets nervous. Alright, now I gotta get my big shot, and I'm gonna have to tab 2 because I have to cut 2 of the where's my scissors? Over there. Need to cut 2 of these little dealy wobbers, the branches, the seaweed, whatever you want to call them. So, yeah. Poor little Blakey. I say poor little Blakey. He's a nervous guy. And literally, like, here's the thing. He doesn't do it, I don't feel like he does it to be bad or anything like that. But there have been times where I've gone out to my car to grab something, and he pooped by the front door because he got nervous. So I don't think it's, I don't know how to explain it, but I just think he just gets nervous sometimes and just poops. Okay, let's talk about something a little less gross. I'm laughing about it, but I don't really think it's that funny. So those are kind of my 2, I have 3 things. I need room for crafting. I need a completely fenced yard, and salt, like no carpet anywhere in my whole house, unless I put a throw rug down. And even that's kind of pushing it. Okay. Right. Almost done. And I feel like it's going to be just in the nick of time. I was looking at the time, it is almost time for the little one's last potty break of the night. My left ear is really hurting right now, which is no fun, because if it continues, then I'm going to have to go see someone about it, and I'm not really wanting to do that. So this is another little chipboard piece, and I did already ink the edges of it. I'm going to go ahead and place that on there nice and secure. And in here I have my little footsies for the box, and I'll get into that in just a second, and then also my little shells. But we also need to put some sequins on there, because sequins, yeah, gotta have sequins. So the largest shell is right about there. Now these are smaller than the others, but that's okay, right? One goes there. And I just put some glue along the rim, and then my finger. And I put my finger in the glue itself. Okay, now I've got my thing, and of course I put my quick stick back. Okay. Alright. Let's get this sequined up. Okay. Gosh, I can't believe this series is almost over. I think I might have said it before, but I'm pretty sure it's like the shortest late night crafting series that I've ever done. I think it'll be like 9 parts or something. Something crazy like that. But I mean, normally when I do this, I'm doing it from scratch, and so there's a lot of waffling on design ideas and things like that. Okay. Hopefully my head's not all up in the way of this. I don't think it is, but might have been a lot. Fingers crossed it wasn't. Sequin there. I feel like hear one of the neighbor dogs going crazy. I heard a lot of coyotes last night. Was it last night? Yeah, last night, and then the night before I was hearing a few of them. So hopefully it's just morning. Okay, there's that, there's that. Now, I do have to put the feet on, but I don't want to do that. Okay, so, oopsies. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to put that back in for stability. I'm going to borrow this drawer. And on the other ones I actually use glossy accents. I don't know why. I was just thinking maybe because it dried shiny. These are just large plastic beads that I had in my stash. And I actually took my Dremel and I shaved them so that they sat flat on one end. Let me see, let's make sure that that's not, there we go. Okay. Okay. Alright, I like the placement on those. So I do have to let these dry before I can really, but those are the, I don't want to tip it too much, but those are the feet. There's the box upside down. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Not of this series, but just in my next video. Take care. Bye.